Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our Week 1 NFL preview between the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Broncos.
Now let's look at the Broncos in this matchup. They can't be too stubborn to break their own tendencies. They have to run the football. They have impressive depth in the backfield with Monty Ball and Ronnie Hillman if he can hold on to the rock. But they have to be able to break tendencies versus the Baltimore Ravens. And they also want to utilize that secondary depth. I like what they have back there. They have some versatile guys at corner that can play safety and some safeties that can excel in coverage. They have to get versatile in that secondary versus Baltimore in those multiple tight end sets. And they have to win those individual matchups on the offensive line. If they can't protect the front, everything they want to do offensively will not work, so they have to win those battles across that offensive line from tackle to tackle, even the tight ends in pass protection. Now let's move over to the Baltimore Ravens in this matchup, and right off the bat, they have to go with that R&B offense. That's rhythm and balance. When they operate off balance and when Flacco has that rhythm, they're tough to beat, and they can move the ball on anybody, no matter who's out there at receiver or tight end. They have to utilize those power run plays off tackle. You want to test Derek Wolfe at the defensive end spot, those linebackers and Nate Irvin and Danny Trevathan in the running game. Test those guys out running off tackle with those power plays. I think they can have a chance. And defensively, I think they'll be fine. I like what they have on defense. Attitude dictates performance, and we know the Ravens have the attitude to be successful, and I think they're going to have the guys in that front seven to slow down what the Broncos want to do offensively. Now let's go inside the lab to take a look at some X's and O's in this matchup.
I believe the Baltimore Ravens can still have some success versus the Denver Broncos if they go big in their personnel in certain situations. What I mean by going big, here's how we have it drawn up. We're going to have Kyle Juszczyk, the rookie fullback, H-back, lined up in your traditional tight end set. We're going to offset the fullback to his side, put the back in the backfield. Ed Dixon is an excellent receiver. We're going to utilize his big body in the slot. We're going to put the wide receiver off to the side. Now, a lot of people want to ask, how will the defense adjust to this? 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a defense adjust to this formation with an over front. And how we have that drawn up is like this. Your in is outside, your 3 tech, your 1 tech, your in is going to get kicked in inside. Why? Because we have the linebacker over the tight end. Weak side backer stacked behind the defensive end, and the backer in the middle, and your cornerback on this side is going to be in a 3-by-2 alignment. 3-by-2, just in case someone affects his zone here. We're going to put the free safety right there, and we're going to add a strong safety in the middle with the cornerback, obviously on the wide receiver. Now, the cornerback is key, and you can see in this formation, the Ravens still have all of their run plays at their disposal. Their ISOs, their inside zones, their counters. All the run plays are still at your disposal out of this formation. Now, what you want to do, if you want to run weak side, what you're looking for, this is the matchup. The strong safety and the tight end. If this is your traditional run stuffing type of strong safety, then you want to audible to a pass. If this is your classic coverage safety, then you want to audible to a run. Because remember, Ed Dixon not only can catch the football, but is also an excellent blocker. So the way you can attack this guy, if this is a pass, easy. You want to run double post off play action. Why? Because this free safety will have to make a choice. If this free safety wants to help out that strong safety that's terrible in coverage, then you're going to have the backside post wide open one-on-one with that cornerback. However, if he wants to help out that corner, then you have a tight end running versus a strong safety. So like I said before, the Ravens still can be successful in their big personnel versus the Denver Broncos. Now, earlier we talked about the Baltimore Ravens going big in their personnel, and here's how the Denver Broncos can protect themselves in that formation by utilizing their own personnel. Now, they have the unique advantage of having guys at corner that can also play safety, i.e. Quentin Jammer, a guy that does excel in coverage but also does a great job in tackling. So what we're going to do, we're going to have cover 1, weak side blitz. Cover 1 means we're going to have one safety back in coverage, man on man right here. We're going to have this cornerback responsible for the H-back. Strong side backer will be responsible for the fullback, and we're going to have the middle backer responsible for the tailback. Weak side backer is going to be responsible for the tight end. Why? Because we're sending Quentin Jammer off the edge, attacking, cornerback responsible for his guy. So you see how they can have some success. We're going to bring the end here. Everyone's crashing inside because we want to create the space for the strong safety to have free reign at Joe Flacco. Inside pressure, play through your man, and that's how we're going to have that weak side blitz. Now, you ask the question, what if they bring the fullback over here? Okay, they're going to bring the fullback over here, so everyone now adjusts. Now we're going to have the strong safety stay in and make sure he mans up on the tight end. Weak side backer now will be responsible for the fullback. Middle backer stay the same, and over here we're going to have the strong side backer now be responsible for this H-back, because now technically this is the weak side, and we're going to send the cornerback off the edge. So you see where the sight adjustment blitz happens. If you notice a guy to your side is moving over to the other side of the formation, you are now the hot blitzer. You are now free to come off the edge. So that's how the Broncos can protect themselves versus the Ravens if they go into that big personnel.
Now, here are some coaching points for both teams in this matchup. For Baltimore, they have to get physical with those wide receivers. I think they can go aggressive and get physical at the line of scrimmage, beat up those wide receivers, throw off that timing, and that way you can get to Peyton Manning. And you also want to keep your guards on the move. That's Yanda and Osamel. Keep those guys on the move in a running game with those power plays, or even in pass protection if you want to move the pocket for Flacco. And defensively, A-gap and B-gap pressure is how you can be successful this week versus the Broncos spread offense. You want to slow down the spread, you have to get pressure on the inside. And for the Broncos in this matchup, they have to find creative ways to generate pressure. Now, defensively speaking, yes, you can have blitzes, you can have different stunts to try to generate pressure, but your offense can also help out your defense by putting the football in the end zone. That's going to put pressure on Baltimore's offense, and they may press, which could result into turnovers. Execution also controls tempo. If you execute, do your job the way you're supposed to do it, that controls the tempo, whether it be an up-tempo style or a slow-tempo style. If you don't execute, it's all for naught. And they have to communicate defensively. That's what doomed the Broncos in the playoff game last year. The Ravens don't do anything fancy in their passing game, but if you're going to pass guys off through your zones, you have to communicate defensively in order to be effective in your coverages. The X factor for the Broncos will be that interior offensive line, not only in running the football, which is vital, but also in pass protection. We talked about it earlier. If you want to slow down a spread offensive attack, you got to get pressure on the inside. If they can't hold up their end of the bargain, Peyton Manning will be under duress throughout the course of the game. The X factor for the Baltimore Ravens will be the number 2 tight end. Now, whether that's rookie Kyle Juszczyk out of Harvard or the newly signed free agent Dallas Clark, whomever is going to be the second tight end, you may even see both tight ends, all 3 tight ends in this ball game. They're going to have to step up and take some of that pressure off the receivers and off Ed Dixon, and also help out in a running game. I like the Broncos in this ball game. I can trust their offense week 1 off the bus to be precise, to be efficient, and to move the ball. This game is essentially the 5th preseason game, as this is the first time both teams will play together with their starters for a full game. So you're going to see some sloppiness, you're going to see some miscommunication, but if I had to bet on the team that does do a great job in executing, I have to go with the Broncos. But keep an eye on that Ravens defense, as they will be tough, not only in this game, but throughout the course of the season. And I want to give a huge shout out to Bronco fan forums and Raven fan forums for always showing football game plan support.